Welcome to The American Story. Stories about what it is that makes America beautiful. Heartbreaking, funny, inspiring, and endlessly interesting. This is Chris Flannery with the Claremont Institute. I call this one Beauty and Brains. To be a glamorous movie starlet in the golden age of cinema, appear in Academy Award-winning films, and have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame sets you apart from the crowd. To develop technologies decades ahead of their time and be inducted into the Inventors Hall of Fame sets you apart from another crowd. To do both in a single life, well, there hardly seems to be a crowd left to be set apart from. Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler was born to Jewish parents in Vienna, Austria in 1914, at the beginning of World War I. Before she was 20, she had acted in a number of Austrian, German, and Czech films and married a wealthy ammunition manufacturer with close ties to fascist and Nazi governments. Then in 1937, oppressed by her domineering husband and experiencing the intensifying anti-Semitism in Austria, she looked for an opportunity to escape. There are at least two stories about how she managed it. According to one, she drugged her maid, dressed in the maid's clothes, and fled to Paris. According to another account, she persuaded her husband to let her wear all of her jewelry for a dinner party with Nazi bigwigs, then disappeared. However she got out, she made her way to London, met Louis B. Mayer, head of MGM Studio, signed a Hollywood movie contract, and began being promoted as the most beautiful woman in the world. She also accepted a new name, Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr became a star with her 1938 performance in Algiers with Charles Boyer, and went on to star in several films opposite Clark Gable and Jimmy Stewart. There is no question that her beauty opened many doors for her, and what happened when she walked through those doors was recorded by fellow actor George Sanders. She was so beautiful, he said, that everybody would stop talking when she came into a room. This might have been a clue that beauty was not an unmixed blessing. She came to see early on that the only roles she could get were confined to parading her irresistible beauty, like the ravishing native girl, Tondaleo, in White Cargo, which was a huge hit, or Delilah in Cecil B. DeMille's Samson and Delilah, which won 2 Academy Awards. My face, she said, has been my misfortune, a mask I cannot remove. I must live with it. I curse it. When World War II broke out, Lamarr's beauty helped her to do her patriotic duty, appearing in USO shows and selling war bonds by auctioning kisses to sailors on stage. She sold approximately $25 million in war bonds, equivalent to over $300 million today. But she thought she had more to offer the cause than her beauty. Any girl can be glamorous, she said. All you have to do is stand still and look stupid. But she was far from stupid. She had no formal scientific training, but developed an interest in invention and technologies from her father. By the time she was 5, she was already taking apart and reassembling her music box to see how it worked. She loved to tinker. In Beverly Hills, she had an inventor's corner in the drawing room of her home, complete with a drafting table and lamp, and all the necessary drafting tools. Thanks to the help of Howard Hughes, she also had a small set of equipment that allowed her to work on inventions in her trailer on set, between takes. In 1940, hearing reports of the German military jamming the signals of British torpedoes, Lamarr took advantage of the many dinners and social functions she had hosted with her husband in Austria in the 1930s. There had been a great deal of talk at those gatherings among scientists and military brass about weapons technology, when no one thought a young, beautiful actress would understand, much less be soaking in, the classified information being bandied about. But at some of those dinner parties, Hedy learned of growing interest in weapons guided by radio signals that could be jammed, tracked, or interfered with. Now she had an insight of her own. By continuously and randomly changing the radio frequencies, it was possible to defy jamming. She discussed the idea with her friend and neighbor, avant-garde composer George Ante. They developed a frequency-hopping device, obtained a patent not merely for radio-controlled torpedo, but for a much broader, pioneering, secret communication system. They offered it to the Navy, which did not pursue the technology, but did classify it. Over time, the military and national security agencies developed a number of different secret communication systems based on various forms of frequency hopping, and used it to guide missiles. Eventually, the concept was picked up in the commercial world, and today, frequency hopping is the basis for some of what's called spread spectrum communication, used in cell phones, GPS, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi. Her patent expired before she ever saw a penny from what turned out to be a multi-billion-dollar industry. But for her part in discovering the idea, Hedy Lamarr has been belatedly recognized with several awards, including induction into the Inventors Hall of Fame in 2014. It's a story so far-fetched, even the craziest Hollywood producer wouldn't buy it. Still, when you pick up your cell phone, join your next Zoom meeting, or find yourself with a good Wi-Fi connection in your local coffee shop, pause a moment and pay your respects to Hedy Lamarr, a woman set well apart by her beauty and her brains. Thanks for being part of the American Story. This is Chris Flannery with the Claremont Institute. The American Story podcast is made possible through listener donations. If you'd like to support the production of more stories, please visit theamericanstorypodcast.org and click Donate. By visiting theamericanstorypodcast.org, you'll also find that each episode has resources for you to explore. That's theamericanstorypodcast.org.